Okay, so feeling like you're constantly playing catch up with all the new AI tools popping up at work.
hmm
Like there's this secret language everyone else seems to understand, and you're just hoping you don't get left behind.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. It can feel overwhelming.
Well, today we're cracking that code for you. Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
We take a stack of information, and pull out the bits you absolutely need to know. Today, that means diving headfirst into prompt engineering for workplace AI.
Spot on.
Think of this as like your shortcut to making AI your superpower at work, boosting your productivity, giving you a real advantage,
Mhm.
and you don't need a PhD in computer science.
Exactly. It's about practical skills.
Mm.
We're living in the age of generative AI, Gen AI for short.
Right.
These are the systems powered by what we call large language models, LLMs. You've probably heard names like GPT, Claude,
Oh,
Gemini.
oh yeah, they're everywhere now.
And you can imagine these as incredibly well-read students. They've absorbed massive libraries of text, images, even code.
Wow.
And this allows them to understand and generate responses that feel, well, very human-like.
It's kind of amazing, right? They can summarize huge documents, translate languages like that,
Mm-hmm.
even help you brainstorm when you're completely stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing we've learned. Just having access to these powerful AI tools isn't the magic bullet.
No, not quite. Access is just the first step.
The real magic happens in how you talk to them.
Yeah.
And that's where this whole idea of prompt engineering comes in.
That's the core of it. Think of a prompt as simply the instruction you give to the AI.
Okay.
Could be a question, a request to summarize something, maybe even a description of an image you wanted to create.
Pretty straightforward.
But prompt engineering is then the knack, you could say the art and the science of designing and refining these instructions.
Oh, okay.
So you get the absolute best possible results from the AI. It's not just about typing in whatever comes to mind first.
Right. It's more strategic than that.
Exactly. You need to be strategic in your communication.
Okay. So in this deep dive, we're going to unpack this whole world of prompt engineering. We'll look at the core concepts and really practical techniques you can start experimenting with, like today,
Mhm.
actionable stuff, and the best ways to actually craft these prompts. We'll also peek at the growing number of AI tools designed for all sorts of workplace tasks.
A whole landscape out there.
Our mission is simple: to equip you with the knowledge to start using AI strategically and, with confidence in your own work. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Prompt engineering is really about taking a systematic approach,
Okay.
developing and then fine-tuning the instructions we give to these generative AI models.
So systematic, not just random requests.
Precisely. It's like having a conversation with a super intelligent being, but one that needs very clear directions to understand exactly what you need.
Right, even though they sound human.
Exactly. While these models are designed to mimic human interaction, they still rely on us to provide, well, precise and detailed guidance to consistently produce high-quality output.
So it's not enough to just ask nicely. You need to be more specific than that.
You've got it. It involves a thoughtful process. Choosing the right words, structuring your request effectively,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes even using specific keywords that the AI will understand better. Often, it's a bit of creative problem solving combined with some trial and error.
Trial and error. Okay.
Yet to discover the best way to get the AI to grasp the context, the subtle details, and the exact requirements of your task.
And this is such an important skill now that there are actual roles dedicated to it, right? Like prompt engineer.
That's right. Prompt engineers are becoming increasingly valuable. They're the experts in understanding how to interact most effectively with these LLMs.
So what do they actually do all day?
Well, they spend their time crafting and perfecting prompts, identifying successful patterns that can be reused,
Ah, reusable pattern.
and even building libraries of these prompts. This makes AI applications more efficient, dependable, and frankly, easier for everyone in an organization to use.
Okay, so it's clearly a big deal, but break it down for me. Why should someone who's listening right now really care about getting good at this? What are the concrete benefits for their day-to-day work?
Well, the impact on how well the AI performs and how useful it actually is for you is direct. It's huge.
Okay.
First off, effective prompting gives you greater control and precision.
Control. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. You can really steer the AI's behavior and the kind of output it generates.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it aligns with your specific goals, even the exact format you need.
Like telling it how to structure the answer.
Exactly. For instance, you can tell it, summarize this report in 3 bullet points, highlighting the key financial takeaways. Super specific.
Wow. Okay. That level of control would be a game changer for quickly getting the gist of long documents.
Absolutely saves so much time. Secondly, it leads to improved output quality and relevance.
Better answers, basically.
Right. Well-crafted prompts significantly boost the accuracy, how coherent the response is, and how directly it addresses your actual needs. This means you spend less time afterward editing and tweaking the AI's output. Being very specific really cuts down on ambiguity.
Less ambiguity, less editing.
Exactly. It helps the AI focus precisely on the task at hand.
Fewer late-night editing sessions. Sign me up. What else makes this important?
It also leads to an enhanced user experience.
How so?
Well, when you get relevant and helpful results quickly, maybe even on the first try, it just makes using AI tools much more accessible and intuitive.
Yeah, less frustrating.
Definitely. No more feeling like you're fumbling in the dark.
Uh-huh.
Plus, well-designed prompts contribute to efficiency and scalability.
Efficiency and scalability. Okay.
Optimized prompts help AI applications run more effectively. And as prompt engineers identify successful prompt structures.
The reusable patterns you mentioned?
Exactly. Those can often be adapted and reused across different projects or even different departments. This helps maximize the benefits you get from your AI investments. Think of it like creating a winning recipe you can use again and again.
That makes perfect sense, like creating a template for getting reliably good results.
Precisely. And finally, and this is really important, thoughtful prompt design can play a role in guiding the AI towards more appropriate and helpful responses.
Guiding it. How?
Well, by being clear in your instructions, you can help the AI avoid generating irrelevant or, off-topic content. Kind of keeps it on track.
Okay, so we understand why it matters. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts. What are some of these foundational prompt engineering techniques that can help us get better responses from these LLMs right away?
Okay, yeah. There's a range of techniques, from really simple to more advanced. Let's start with zero-shot prompting.
Zero shot. Okay.
This is the most straightforward. You basically give the modder a direct instruction or question without providing any prior examples within the prompt itself.
No examples at all.
Nope. It relies entirely on the model's existing knowledge base, what it was trained on. A classic example is simply asking, what is the highest mountain in the world?
Right. Something it should just know.
Exactly. It works best for relatively simple, well-known facts, where the expected answer format is pretty clear.
Simple and direct. I like it. What's the next level up?
Next, we have few-shot prompting.
Few shot. Okay, so maybe some examples.
Exactly. Here, you provide the LLM with a small number of examples, maybe 2 or 3, that demonstrate the kind of input and the desired output you're looking for.
Like showing it what good looks like.
Precisely. These examples act like quick lessons. They help the model understand the task's format, the style you want, or any specific requirements. Few-shot prompting tends to be more effective than zero-shot for tasks that are a bit more nuanced, or when you need a very specific output structure.
Can you give me a quick example of how that works, like a practical one?
Sure. Let's say you want the AI to come up with catchy taglines for different products.
Okay, like for marketing.
Yeah. You might give it a few examples in the prompt, like product, eco-friendly water bottle, tagline, sip sustainably, product, noise-canceling headphones, tagline, silence the world, product, your new product tagline.
Ah, I see. The example's guided on the kind of creative and concise taglines you want. Sets the tone and format.
Exactly. You're showing, not just telling. What about when we're dealing with more complex problems? Problems that require some reasoning.
Yeah, like math problems or logical puzzles.
Right. That's where chain of thought critique prompting comes into play.
Oh, chain of thought. Okay.
This technique is designed to help the AI break down complex problems into a series of logical steps, much like how a human would think through it.
So not just jumping to the answer.
Correct. Instead of just asking for the final answer, you encourage the model to explain its reasoning process. Show its work, essentially.
How do you do that? Just ask it to explain.
You can add phrases like, let's think step by step to the prompt. Or you can provide few-shot examples that actually include the intermediate steps of the reasoning.
Ah, okay. Show the steps in the examples.
Exactly. This explicit breakdown often leads to much more accurate and understandable results for complicated questions.
So you're not just asking for the answer. You're asking the AI to show its work. That's a smart way to tackle complex issues and check its logic.
It is. And you can build on that with self-consistency.
Self-consistency, what's that?
Imagine you ask that chain of thought prompt multiple times, maybe slightly tweaking the initial wording each time.
Okay.
You might get slightly different reasoning paths each time, right? But the idea behind self-consistency is that if the underlying logic is sound, The final answer should probably be the same across most of those attempts.
Ah, so run it multiple times and see if the answer holds up.
Pretty much. By generating multiple reasoning paths and then selecting the most frequent final answer, you can increase the reliability of the AI's response. It's like getting multiple expert opinions and going with the consensus.
Like getting a second or even a third opinion to make sure you've got the right answer. Makes sense. Very clever.
Exactly. Then there's generated knowledge prompting.
Generated knowledge.
Okay. Sometimes the AI might not have all the specific factual information it needs readily available in its training data to answer your question accurately.
Right, especially for newer stuff.
Exactly. With this technique, you first prompt the model to generate relevant facts or information about the topic before you ask your main question.
So you ask it for background info first.
Yeah. This generated knowledge then becomes part of the context for the final prompt. This can really improve the accuracy and completeness of the answer, especially for niche or rapidly evolving topics.
Well, you're almost giving the AI a quick briefing before it tackles the main task. Interesting. What else is in our prompt engineering toolbox?
You also have prompt chaining, sometimes called prompt decomposition.
Chaining or decomposition sounds like breaking things down again.
It is. For really intricate tasks, you break down the entire problem into a sequence of smaller, more manageable subprompts.
Okay.
The output from one prompt, which addresses a specific part of the problem, is then used as the input for the next prompt in the chain.
Output of one becomes input for the next.
Exactly. This modular approach can make complex workflows much more reliable and easier to troubleshoot. Think of it as building a complex machine by assembling smaller, well-defined components.
Like breaking down a big project into a series of smaller steps that makes it feel less daunting, for sure.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want the AI to explore multiple different approaches to a problem simultaneously,
Like considering different angles.
yeah, there's tree of thoughts, 2TT. This is a more advanced extension of chain of thought.
Tree of thoughts. Okay. Going beyond a single chain.
Right. The model can explore various lines of reasoning at each step. It creates a kind of tree structure of intermediate thought.
A branching path.
Exactly, allowing it to consider different options and even backtrack if a particular path doesn't seem promising.
So it can change its mind mid-thought.
In a way, yes. It evaluates different paths. This is particularly useful for tasks that require more strategic thinking or exploration of different possibilities. It's like brainstorming different angles before settling on a solution.
That sounds like a really powerful way for the AI to tackle complex, open-ended problems. Very cool.
It is. Now, for situations where you need to incorporate very specific, up-to-date information, stuff the AI might not have in its training data.
Yeah, like recent news or company-specific data.
Exactly. There's retrieval augmented generation, RAGE.
Oh, okay.
Before the AI generates its response, the system first searches an external knowledge base, maybe a company's internal documents, a curated database, the live web.
It does a search first.
Yes, for information relevant to the user's query. This retrieved information is then added to the prompt's context.
Ah, so it gets fresh info for the prompt.
Precisely. This allows the AI to give answers that are grounded in very specific, current, or even proprietary data. Imagine it as the AI quickly looking up relevant documents in a library before answering your question.
That's incredibly useful, especially for getting accurate, timely information that's specific to an organization or recent events, solves the out-of-date problem.
Absolutely. It's a game changer for many applications. Now, to overcome some inherent limitations of LLMs, like not having real-time access to everything or the ability to perform precise calculations.
Yeah, they sometimes struggle with math or current facts.
Right. For that, we have automatic reasoning and tool use, or RT.
RT, like using tools.
Exactly. This enables LLMs to actually interact with external tools, things like search engines, calculators, other software APIs.
So the AI can use a calculator or search the web itself.
Yes. The model figures out which tool it needs, generates the correct input for that tool, uses it, and then incorporates the tool's output into its final response.
Wow.
So if you ask it a question that requires current data, it might automatically use a search engine to find that information before answering.
So the AI can actually go out and get the information or use a specific function it needs that's a significant leap in capability, makes them much more powerful.
It is. And get this. Even the process of creating effective prompts is being automated with Automatic Prompt Engineer, APE.
Wait, AI creating prompts for other AI?
You got it. This involves using one LLM to automatically generate and optimize prompts for another, target LLM.
How does that work?
You provide examples of the desired input and output, and the first LLM comes up with candidate instructions, tests how well they work on the target model,
Uh-huh.
and then keeps refining them based on the results. In some cases, it can even discover prompts that are more effective than humans might have come up with on their own.
That's a bit meta, but also incredibly interesting. AI helping us learn how to talk to other AI more effectively. What's next?
We also have active prompt.
An active prompt.
Yeah, this is a technique where the prompts are designed to allow the model to ask clarifying questions.
The AI asks us questions.
Yes, or request more information if it encounters ambiguity or isn't quite sure what you're asking for.
Uh-huh.
This can lead to much more accurate and relevant responses because it addresses potential misunderstandings early on. It's like the AI saying, just to be sure I understand correctly, could you tell me more about?
That's a really smart way to avoid misinterpretations and get better results when the initial request isn't perfectly clear.
Exactly, saves a lot of back and forth.
Hmm.
And finally, there's directional stimulus prompting.
Directional stimulus. Sounds like nudging it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
This involves adding specific keywords, phrases, or even stylistic cues to the prompt to gently guide or nudge the model towards a particular type of output.
Like influencing the tone.
Yeah, or a certain tone or specific focus area without being overly restrictive in your instructions. It's a subtle way to influence the AI's response in the desired direction.
So it's like providing gentle guidance rather than strict commands,
Mm,
understanding all these techniques. Wow, it really does give you a powerful toolkit for getting much more sophisticated and reliable results from interacting with LLMs.
Absolutely, it's all spectrum of approaches. And while these techniques offer specific ways to interact with AI, there are some overarching principles that apply no matter which method you're using or what task you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, like universal rules.
Think of them as the golden rules of prompt engineering. Yeah. What works best often depends on the specific AI model and the context, but these universal principles will set you on the right track.
Got it.
The key is to think of yourself as guiding the AI's thought process rather than just dictating the final answer.
Guiding its process. Okay, let's dive into these universal principles for crafting high-quality prompts. What's number one?
First and foremost is clarity and specificity.
Be clear. Makes sense.
Yes, but really clear. Your prompts need to be unambiguous and precise about what you want. Avoid vague language or broad requests.
So instead of, tell me about AI.
Right. Instead of that, try something like, explain the impact of AI on healthcare inventory management, focusing on cost reduction and efficiency gains. See the difference?
Yeah, much more specific. Use action verbs, too.
Good point.
Hmm.
Using strong action verbs like summarize, analyze, compare, generate, list, explain really helps clarify the action you want the AI to take.
So ditch the general requests and get down to the details. Got it. What's the next essential principle?
Provide sufficient context.
Context. Give it the background.
Exactly. LLMs rely heavily on the information you give them in the prompt. Include any relevant background info, key facts, data points, definitions, or constraints the model needs.
So it understands the situation.
Precisely. For example, if you're asking for an analysis of customer feedback, make sure you provide a brief description of the product or service the feedback relates to. Don't assume it knows.
Context is like giving the AI the background story it needs to understand the question properly. Okay. What's next?
Consider assigning a persona or role.
A persona, like telling it who to be.
Yeah, telling the AI to adopt a specific persona, like act as a seasoned marketing expert, or you are a helpful and concise customer service representative, can really influence the tone, style, vocabulary, and even the perspective of the response. It gives the AI a framework to operate within and helps tailor the output to a specific audience or purpose.
That's a clever way to get different styles and perspectives without having to explicitly list all the requirements for that style. Just give it a role.
It's very effective. Next, use structure and delimiters.
Structure and delimiters, like formatting the prompt itself.
Exactly. Clearly separate the different parts of your prompt, the instructions, the context, any input data, any examples you're providing. Use clear visual cues.
What kind of cues?
Things like triple quotes, triple backticks,
Yeah.
XML tags, or even simple headings like hashtag tag, hashtag instruction, hashtag tag, 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 tag. This helps the model understand the different roles of each section.
Okay, makes it easier for the AI to parse.
And don't forget to specify the desired output format. For example, provide the answer as a numbered list, or generate the output in JSON format.
Tell it how you want the answer formatted. Good tip. Structure helps the AI parse your request more effectively. Makes sense.
Absolutely. Another important principle is to employ positive framing.
Positive framing, what do you mean?
Try to guide the AI by stating what it should do rather than focusing only on what it should avoid.
Ah, tell it the do's, not just the don'ts.
Exactly. For example, instead of saying don't use overly technical language, say, explain this in clear and simple terms that a beginner can understand. Positive instructions tend to provide clearer direction.
Focus on the desired outcome rather than what to avoid. Got it. That's a subtle but important shift.
It often works better. Then there's the balance between detail and conciseness.
Okay, so be specific, but don't ramble.
That's the idea. While being specific is crucial, avoid overwhelming the model with unnecessary jargon or too much extra information that could distract it from your main request.
Right.
Aim for a balance. Detailed enough to be clear, but concise enough to be easily processed. And if you have a desired length in mind for the output, specify it.
Like in under 200 words or something.
Exactly. In no more than 150 words, or provide a brief summary of approximately 3 paragraphs, helps manage expectations.
Finding that sweet spot of enough information without being overwhelming, I can see how that's key. Don't want to confuse it.
Exactly. And finally, remember that prompt engineering is an iterative process.
Iterative, meaning you probably won't get it perfect first time.
Exactly. You're rarely going to get the perfect result on your very first try. Expect to experiment.
Okay.
Try different phrasings, evaluate the AI's response, and then refine your prompt. Tweak the wording, add more context, provide better examples, simplify your instructions until you get the output you're looking for.
So keep trying and adjusting.
It's all about continuous improvement. Think of it as a dialogue.
So it's a bit of a dialogue with the AI to really dial in the results you need, not just a one-shot command.
Precisely. Now, while these are universal principles, the way you apply them can be tailored for specific types of AI generation.
Okay, like text versus images.
Exactly. Let's start with text generation models like ChatGPT and Claude. One helpful tip, especially with OpenAI models, is to put your main instructions at the beginning of the prompt.
Instructions first. Got it.
And use clear delimiters, like those triple quotes we mentioned, to separate them from any context or input text you provide. This helps the model immediately understand what you want it to do.
Clear separation. Okay.
Also, remember that different models have their own nuances. For instance, Anthropic's Claude is known to be good at paying attention to XML tags for structuring prompts.
XML tags, like task.
Yeah, using tags like task or context can sometimes improve its understanding. Conversely, OpenAI's models often work well with using distinct message roles like user, system, and assistant.
Ah, the different speaker roles.
Right. That clearly defines different parts of the interaction, which can help the model understand the flow of the conversation and the different types of information.
So knowing a little bit about the specific strengths and how different models are designed to process information can give you an extra edge. Worth looking into the specifics of the tool you use.
Absolutely. A little model-specific knowledge goes a long way. Another useful technique, particularly with models like Claude, is pre-filling responses.
Pre-filling, like starting the answer for it.
Kind of. If you have a specific format in mind for the output, say, you want the answer to be in JSON, you can sometimes pre-fill the response by providing the very beginning of that format in the prompt.
So you type like key.
Exactly. Just to start. This can help guide the AI to continue the output in the desired structure. It's like giving it a strong hint.
Clever trick.
Yeah.
What about generating longer stuff, like articles or reports?
Yeah, when you need to generate longer pieces of content, it's often best to break down the task. Provide a clear outline within your initial prompt.
An outline, okay.
Specify the desired overall length, and maybe even suggest lengths for individual sections. For really long outputs that might exceed the model's processing capacity.
Yeah, they have limits, right?
They do. You might need to use prompt chaining to generate it section by section.
Ah, back to chaining. Generate part 1, then feed that into the prompt for part 2.
Exactly. And finally, when it comes to controlling the tone and style of the generated text, be explicit.
Tell it how you want it to sound.
Use descriptive words like formal, informal, humorous, technical, optimistic, skeptical, whatever fits. You can also provide a few short examples of the desired writing style using few-shot prompting.
Right. Show it the style you want.
Give the AI a clear reference.
Okay, so for text generation, clear instructions up front, understand model specifics, guide the format, maybe pre-fill, break down large tasks, and be explicit about tone and style. Makes sense. Now, let's switch gears to the visual realm. How do we craft effective prompts for image generation tools like Dolly or Midjourney?
Okay, image generation really requires you to think visually. The key here is specificity and visual detail.
More detail again.
Yes, but visual detail. You need to provide rich, descriptive language. Cover the main subject, important background elements, specific objects, colors, the overall mood.
Mood, like happy or eerie.
Exactly. Even details about the composition and the lighting. Instead of just saying a cat,
Yeah, that's too vague.
try a fluffy Persian cat with bright green eyes, sitting majestically on a worn red velvet cushion in a dimly lit, mysterious library, soft moonlight streaming through a window.
Whoa! Okay, that paints a picture. Lighting and camera angle, too.
Definitely. Details about the lighting, soft, warm lighting, dramatic chiaroscuro shadows, golden hour glow, and a camera angle close-up shot, wide panoramic view, low-angle shot, drone perspective can significantly impact the final image.
So you're verbally painting a very detailed picture for the AI.
That's exactly it. The more vivid and descriptive your language, the better the AI can visualize what you're looking for. You should also leverage style modifiers.
Style modifiers, like artistic styles.
Right, guide the AI's artistic direction. Reference specific art forms, oil painting, watercolor sketch, pixel art, photorealistic.
Movements.
Artistic movements, impressionism, surrealism, cyberpunk, art deco, or even the styles of well-known artists in the style of Van Gogh, resembling a Frida Kahlo portrait.
Mentioning specific platforms or studios works too.
Sometimes, yeah. Pixar animation style, Studio Ghibli aesthetic, National Geographic photograph. These can be surprisingly effective cues.
Referencing artistic styles and artists is a great way to get a particular aesthetic without describing every single brushstroke.
Precisely. Familiarity with basic visual art terminology can also give you more control.
Like what terms?
Understanding terms like composition, rule of thirds, symmetrical dynamic, aspect ratio, 16.9, 1.1 square, color palette, monochromatic, vibrant, pastel, foreground, background elements, depth of field, shallow, deep, allows you to give more precise instructions. You could say a symmetrical composition with a shallow depth of field using a vibrant, analogous color palette.
Knowing the right visual vocabulary helps you communicate your artistic vision more effectively. Good tip.
It does. Also, be mindful of prompt structure and weighting. Different tools might prioritize differently, but generally, placing the most important elements earlier in the prompt can give them more emphasis.
Put the main subject first.
Often a good idea. And some advanced interfaces even allow you to assign numerical weights to different terms in your prompt, indicating their relative importance.
So you can tell the AI this part is really important.
Essentially, yes. Also, a word of caution. It's generally best to avoid overly complex compositions and lots of text.
Why is that?
Image generators often struggle to accurately render scenes with, say, 10 distinct people all interacting in specific ways, or with detailed text embedded perfectly in the image.
Right, they sometimes mess up hands or text.
Exactly. Keeping your compositions relatively simple and minimizing the use of embedded text often yields better, more coherent results.
Good to know. Keep it manageable for the AI.
And when prompting for images, try to focus on positive inclusion. Describe what you do want to see, rather than listing things to exclude.
So instead of no trees.
Describe the scene you do want, like a vast, open desert landscape under a clear blue sky. That description naturally excludes trees. It often works better than negative constraints.
Describe what you want, not what you don't. Got it.
And finally, don't forget to leverage supporting tools. There are websites, browser extensions, even AI tools designed specifically to help you brainstorm and generate effective image prompts.
Tools to help write prompts.
Yeah. Some let you input keywords, and they suggest detailed prompts. Others might analyze an image you like and generate a prompt based on that. It can be great for inspiration or refining your ideas.
Okay, so for image generation, vivid visual descriptions, style references, use art terms, keep it reasonably simple, focus on the positive, and maybe use helper tools.
Got it. Now let's talk about prompting for the more technical side. Data analysis and coding assistance.
Right. For data analysis and coding, clarity about your objective and the technical environment is absolutely crucial.
Technical context first.
Exactly. Start by clearly defining your goal and the technical context. State exactly what you want to achieve. Identify the correlation between website traffic and sales revenue, for example.
Be specific about the goal and specify the programming language, Python, R, SQL, whatever. Mention any relevant libraries, Pandas, NumPy, ggplot2, and the format of your data CSV JSON database table.
Give it all the tech specs up front.
The more technical details you provide, the better the AI can assist you and generate relevant, usable code or analysis.
So lay the technical groundwork right from the start. What about the data itself?
You need to describe your data. Provide key information about the data set you're working with.
Like what kind of info?
Column names that are relevant, the data types in those columns is a text, numbers, dates,
Yeah.
and any known issues.
Issues like missing values.
Exactly. Missing values, outliers, inconsistencies. Things the AI might need to handle or be aware of. Understanding the data's structure and characteristics is essential for the AI to provide meaningful help.
The more the AI understands the data, the more helpful its insights or code will be. Makes sense.
Absolutely. Next, specify the desired output or action. Be really clear about what you want the code to do or what kind of insights you're hoping to get.
Give it clear instructions on the output.
Yeah. For example, write Python code using pandas to calculate the average customer spend per month and display it as a bar chart using Matplotlib. Or identify the top 3 factors contributing to customer churn based on this data set and list them with their correlation coefficients.
Super specific again.
Precision helps. If you're using AI for debugging, this is key. Provide the specific code snippet that's causing the error,
The buggy code.
the full error message you're receiving,
The whole error, not just part of it.
and a clear explanation of what the code is supposed to do. This gives the AI the necessary context to diagnose the problem and suggest solutions.
Help the AI understand the problem and what the intended solution looks like. Good debugging practice anyway.
Exactly. Now, when you're asking the AI to generate code, using leading words for code can be very effective.
Leading words, like starting the prompt with code.
Kind of. Start your prompt with keywords that are specific to the programming language or the type of code you need. For Python, maybe start with import pandas as PED if you need pandas. For SQL, start with select column name from table name where.
It's like giving the AI a starting hint in the right language. Signals what's coming.
Precisely. It helps the AI quickly understand the language context and the type of code structure you're looking for.
Clever. What about complex analysis?
And for complex data analysis or multi-step coding tasks, remember our old friend. Break down the problem into smaller, more manageable steps.
Back to decomposition and chaining.
Use chain of thought prompting or explicit prompt chaining. Guide the AI through the process logically, asking it to perform one specific operation at a time. Get the data loaded, then clean it, then analyze this part, then visualize that part.
Step by step.
This not only improves the accuracy of the results, but also makes it much easier for you to review, understand, and validate the AI's approach in the code it generates.
Breaking down complex tasks into smaller prompts seems to be a really consistent strategy for getting better results across all types of AI interactions, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. It's one of the most reliable ways to handle complexity. So by applying these best practices, tailoring them to the specific AI tool and task, you can significantly enhance the quality and usefulness of AI-generated outputs for data analysis and coding.
This has been incredibly insightful, seriously useful stuff. We've covered a ton about prompt engineering techniques and best practices. But beyond just the general purpose AI models like ChatGPT, there's a whole ecosystem of specialized AI tools out there now, designed for various workplace applications, right?
Absolutely. That's a really important point.
Yeah.
While understanding how to prompt general-purpose AI is foundational, the AI landscape is vast and frankly, exploding.
Yeah, seems like a new tool every week.
We're seeing a proliferation of specialized AI tools designed to tackle specific tasks and integrate seamlessly into existing workflows, your email, your project management software, your design tools.
So they're built into the tools we already use.
Often, yes. Or they're standalone tools focused on one area. These tools often have features and interfaces tailored to particular industries or roles, offering enhanced efficiency and capabilities beyond what a general chatbot might provide on its own.
And prompting still matters for these.
Definitely. Effectively leveraging these specialized tools often still relies on good prompting, but the context and the types of instructions you'll use can be quite different, more specific to the tool's function.
So it's not just about one AI tool that does everything.
Yeah.
Can you give us a sense of the different categories? What kinds of specialized tools are we seeing?
Sure. Let's break it down. First, think about communication, content creation, and research.
Okay.
We have the AI chatbots and search engines. We've discussed versatile tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity. Then there are dedicated AI writing assistants.
Like Grammarly, but more generative.
Exactly. Tools like Jasper, Grammarly's generative features, Quillbot, Copy.ai, any WordTune. They're specifically designed to help with generating marketing copy, blog posts, emails, and refining your writing style.
Useful. What else in communication?
For presentations, Tools like Tome or Gamma can generate entire slide decks from a simple text prompt.
Wow, create the whole presentation.
Yeah, first drafts at least.
Huh.
Then there are email assistants, often built into email clients like Superhuman, or through extensions like Merlin. They help draft replies, summarize long threads, manage your inbox.
Inbox zero, here we come.
Maybe. And of course, translation tools like DeepL or Google Translate are using AI for increasingly accurate language translation.
Okay, that's communication and content. What about making things run smoother? Automation.
Right. Category 2, automation efficiency and collaboration. Here we see workflow automation platforms like Zapier, Make, or even no-code platforms like Bubble incorporating AI to connect different apps and automate repetitive tasks without needing to write code.
Connecting apps automatically. Powerful.
Very. Then there are meeting assistants like Otter.ai, Fireflies.ai, Fathom, Fellow. They can transcribe meetings in real time, identify action items, and generate summaries,
No more frantic note-taking.
hopefully. Project management tools are getting smarter too. Notion AI, Asana AI, ClickUp AI, they're adding features to help draft project plans, summarize updates, generate task lists,
AI helping manage projects. Interesting.
and scheduling assistants like Reclaim.ai or Clockwise use AI to analyze your calendar and your team's calendars to automatically find optimal meeting times and protect focus time.
Okay, that covers efficiency. What about more technical roles?
Third category, technical tasks, especially coding and data analysis. We have a surge in AI coding assistants. GitHub Copilot is the big one, but also Tab9, Amazon Code Whisperer, Pieces, Codium, Ask Cody, Replic's Ghostwriter, Cursor.
Lots of options there. What do they do?
They provide real-time code suggestions, complete code blocks, help debug, even generate unit tests right inside your coding environment.
Like an AI pair programmer.
Pretty much. And for AI data analysis platforms, tools like Tableau, Power BI, Qlik, Domo are embedding AI features, often called things like Ask Data or AI Insights, to help users explore data, generate visualizations, and find patterns using natural language prompts. There are also newer, more AI-native tools like Polymer, Julius AI, Coefficient,
So AI making data analysis easier too.
definitely lowering the barrier to entry. Finally, fourth category, creative tasks, mainly design and image generation. We've mentioned the image generators like DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion.
Right.
But AI is also being integrated into traditional design assistants. Adobe Sensei powers AI features across Adobe's Creative Cloud apps. Canva has its Magic Studio suite. There are tools like Lumen 5 for video creation from text.
So AI helping with graphic design and video too. It really is everywhere.
It is. And this is just a snapshot. But it highlights how AI isn't just one thing. It's becoming a suite of specialized capabilities embedded across a wide range of workplace tools.
It sounds like AI is, permeating almost every corner of our work lives.
It is. And as these specialized tools become more prevalent, knowing how to effectively prompt them, understanding their specific capabilities, and the types of instructions they respond best to will be crucial for maximizing their value and boosting your productivity.
So the skill isn't just prompting ChatGPT.
No, it's choosing the right tool for the specific task, and then knowing how to communicate effectively with that tool through well-crafted prompts. That's becoming a key skill set in the modern workplace.
Okay, so we know about the tools, we know how to talk to them better. Now, how do we actually integrate AI into our workflows, like in a smart way, that's both effective and responsible? Because just throwing tools at people doesn't always work.
That's a critical question. Integrating AI effectively requires a thoughtful and strategic approach. It's definitely not just about implementing the technology.
Right.
It's about aligning it with your business goals, preparing your team, managing the data, and establishing clear guidelines for its use. It's a whole process.
So where do we even begin with this strategic planning for AI adoption? What's step one?
The first step, always, is to clearly identify your needs and objectives.
Start with the why.
Exactly. What specific problems are you hoping AI can solve?
Right.
What are the key goals? Efficiency, innovation, better customer service. You want to achieve by incorporating AI. Don't just adopt AI because it's the latest shiny object.
Yeah, avoid the hype cycle trap.
Focus on areas where it can provide tangible benefits and address specific, real challenges within your organization or for your role.
Start with the problem you're trying to solve, not just the technology. Makes sense. What's next after identifying the need?
Once you have a clear understanding of your needs, it's generally best to start small and scale gradually.
Don't try to boil the ocean.
Exactly. Begin with pilot projects in specific areas or on less critical tasks. This allows you to test different AI tools, evaluate their effectiveness in your specific context, and learn valuable lessons.
Learn what works and what doesn't.
Before making larger investments or broader implementations across the whole company, prioritize those initial projects in areas where you anticipate the highest return on investment or the quickest wins. Build momentum.
Dip your toes in the water before diving headfirst. Smart. Got it. What about the actual investment? AI tools, resources? It can sound expensive.
You need to make intelligent investment and resource allocation. Carefully consider the costs.
What kind of costs?
Software licenses, yes, but also potentially necessary hardware upgrades, the significant effort of data preparation and management, and crucially, training for your employees.
Training is key.
Absolutely. For smaller organizations or individuals, starting with free or low-cost AI tools can be a good way to experiment. But be mindful of limitations, especially around data privacy and security, with free tools.
Good point about free tools and data.
And as you scale your AI adoption, you need to plan for ongoing costs, maintenance, updates, potentially needing specialized expertise either in-house or contracted. It's not just a one-time purchase.
So think about both the upfront costs and the ongoing resource requirements.
Okay. Now, what about the actual process of putting these AI tools to work? The nitty-gritty, the tools themselves, the data they need, and keeping everything secure.
Right, that's the implementation framework. 3 key parts here. First, tool selection and customization.
Choosing the right tool.
Choose AI tools that actually align with those needs and objectives you identified earlier. Evaluate them based on function, ease of use, integration potential with your existing systems, vendor support, and customization options.
Do you need off-the-shelf for something custom?
Exactly. Decide if pre-trained models will suffice or if you need fine-tuning or even building something more tailored. Second, you must focus on data readiness and governance.
Data again. It always comes back to data, doesn't it?
It really does with AI. AI models are only as good as the data they're trained on and operate with. Ensure your data is accurate, clean, consistent, relevant.
Easier said than done sometime. Oh, absolutely. It requires effort. Establish clear data governance policies, how data is collected, stored, accessed, secured, used ethically, who owns it. Pay attention to unstructured data and metadata quality, and actively work to mitigate biases in your data.
Mitigate bias. Important. And the third part,
Security and privacy. These are paramount. Implement robust security measures. Encryption, multi-factor authentication, secure data transfer, strict access controls. Choose AI tools from vendors with strong security track records and clear privacy policies.
read the fine print on privacy.
Definitely. And crucially, never input highly sensitive personal, financial, or confidential company data into public AI tools unless you have absolute certainty about their data handling and privacy guarantees, which is rare.
Good rule of thumb. If it's sensitive, keep it out of public AI.
And ensure you're compliant with relevant regulations like GDPR or CCPA.
So choose the right tools, get your data house in order, and prioritize security and privacy at every step. Okay. What about the human side of integrating AI? Getting teams on board, managing the change? That seems like a huge piece of the puzzle.
It's arguably the most critical piece, managing the human element. First, cultivate AI readiness and adaptability within your organization.
Get people ready for it.
Foster a culture of learning, curiosity, and experimentation. Clearly communicate the why behind adopting AI. Highlight the potential benefits for the organization and for individual employees in their roles. Address concerns and anxieties head-on.
Be transparent about it.
Absolutely. Investing in training and upskilling is non-negotiable. Provide comprehensive training on how to use the new AI tools effectively. The basics of prompt engineering relevant to their jobs, new workflows,
Empower them to use the tools well.
and support employees in developing new skills that will be valuable alongside AI critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence. Support reskilling for roles that might be significantly impacted.
Proactive support for change.
Consider implementing human-in-the-loop (HITL) systems for critical or high-stakes tasks,
Human in the loop.
where AI assists humans, maybe drafting something or analyzing data, but the final decisions, judgment, and oversight remain firmly with people. This builds trust and ensures accountability.
Keeps humans in control where it matters most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, encourage cross-functional collaboration. Involve stakeholders from different departments, IT, legal, HR, operations, the actual end users early and often in the AI planning and implementation process.
Get diverse perspectives from the start.
It helps ensure the solutions meet broad needs and potential issues are caught early.
So it's really about preparing your people, giving them the skills and confidence, making sure AI augments them, not just replaces them, keeping humans in charge of key decisions, and making it a collaborative effort across the company. That sounds like a recipe for success.
It's exactly. Effective AI integration is a significant organizational change. It's a transformation that requires careful planning, rigorous data practices, a focus on empowering your workforce, and underpinning it all, establishing ethical guardrails.
Ethics. Right. Let's talk about that. How do we ensure we're implementing AI responsibly?
That's establishing ethical guardrails. It's crucial. First, develop a clear code of ethics or guidelines specifically for AI use within your organization.
Your own AI rulebook.
Exactly. It should address key principles: fairness, transparency, accountability, privacy, security, inclusivity. You can reference external principles, like those from Microsoft or Google, but tailor them to your context and ensure your AI vendors adhere to similar ethical standards.
Hold vendors accountable too.
Definitely. Strive for transparency and explainability. Be open about where and how AI is being used, especially if it impacts employees or customers. Use explainable AI, XAI techniques where possible, so you can understand why an AI made a certain recommendation or decision. Communicate openly,
Avoid the black box problem where possible.
as much as possible. Actively work on bias detection and mitigation. Monitor your AI systems and the data they use for potential biases that could lead to unfair outcomes. Use diverse data sets, employ technical mitigation techniques, and consider third-party audits or validation.
Be proactive about fairness.
Establish clear accountability. Who is responsible for the AI system's development, deployment, and outcomes? Ensure humans remain accountable for critical decisions, even if AI provides input. Don't blame the algorithm.
Humans stay in charge.
And stay informed about compliance. AI regulations are evolving rapidly. The EU AI Act, U.S. executive orders, state-level laws. Keep up to date and ensure your practices comply.
Okay, so ethical guidelines, transparency, fighting bias, clear accountability, and legal compliance. That's a solid framework. What about once AI is up and running? Is it set it and forget it?
Absolutely not. Continuous improvement and monitoring are essential. You need to constantly monitor performance.
Track how well it's doing.
Track AI performance against key metrics: reliability, accuracy, efficiency gained, user satisfaction. Is it actually delivering the value you expected?
Got it. What else?
Establish feedback loops. Create clear mechanisms for users, employees, customers to provide feedback on their experiences with the AI tools. What's working well? What's frustrating? What needs improvement?
Listen to the users.
And finally, adapt and update. Be prepared to refine your AI models, your prompts, your workflows, and even your ethical guidelines based on performance data and user feedback. Keep training data fresh. Stay informed about new AI technologies and techniques that could offer improvements.
So it's an ongoing cycle of monitoring, feedback, and adaptation.
Exactly. Effective AI integration isn't a one-time project. It's a strategic transformation requiring careful planning, solid data practices, workforce enablement, ethical governance, and continuous learning.
We've covered a lot about how to strategically integrate AI and do it responsibly. Now, let's maybe zoom out a bit and talk about the bigger picture. What are the key benefits we're really aiming for? And what are the potential pitfalls or risks we absolutely need to keep in mind as AI becomes more common in the workplace?
It's definitely a double-edged sword. The potential benefits are significant, but the challenges are real and need careful management.
Let's start with the upside. How can AI really help maximize benefits?
Okay, the big one is enhanced productivity and efficiency. Automating repetitive, time-consuming tasks frees up human employees for more complex, strategic, and creative work.
More fulfilling work, hopefully.
That's the goal. And with the rise of AI agents, some envision exponential productivity gains as entire workflows get automated. Another major benefit is improved decision-making.
How so?
AI can analyze vast amounts of data far faster than humans, uncovering insights, trends, and correlations that can support more informed, data-driven strategic choices.
Finding needles in haystacks.
Exactly. It can also be a powerful catalyst for augmented creativity and innovation.
AI helping us be more creative.
Yes. Assisting with brainstorming, generating initial drafts of content or designs, suggesting novel solutions to problems, accelerating experimentation and prototyping. It can be a creative partner.
Interesting. What else?
Enhanced personalization at scale. AI enables tailoring experiences, products, and communications to individual customers or even employees in ways that weren't feasible before. And finally, increased accuracy and consistency, especially for rule-based tasks. AI doesn't get tired or bored. It can perform repetitive tasks with high precision.
Those are some really compelling advantages. Productivity, better decisions, creativity boost, personalization, accuracy. But what about the other side of the coin? What are the key challenges or risks we need to navigate?
Okay, let's be realistic. A significant concern is job displacement and transformation.
The robot takeover fear.
Well, automation will impact jobs. Certain roles, particularly those involving routine tasks, are vulnerable. The challenge for organizations and society is managing this transition through adaptation, reskilling, and potentially rethinking social safety nets. It's about transformation, not just displacement.
So managing the human impact is critical.
Absolutely. Related to that are skill gaps and the need for adaptation. New skills are needed interacting with AI, prompt engineering, data literacy, managing AI systems. There's also an increasing emphasis on uniquely human skills, like critical thinking, emotional intelligence, complex problem solving, creativity.
Skills AI can't easily replicate.
Exactly. Bridging these skill gaps requires significant investment in training and a culture of lifelong learning. Another major challenge is accuracy, reliability, and hallucinations.
Hallucinations. When AI makes things up.
Precisely. AI can generate plausible sounding but completely incorrect or fabricated information. It doesn't know things in the human sense. This requires constant critical evaluation, fact-checking, and human oversight, especially for important decisions. You can't blindly trust the output.
Don't assume the AI is always right. Got it.
Then there's AI bias and fairness.
Yeah.
AI systems learn from data, and if that data reflects historical biases...
The AI learns the bias.
Exactly. This can lead to discriminatory outcomes in hiring, lending, or other areas. It requires careful data vetting, algorithm auditing, fairness metrics, and ongoing monitoring to detect and mitigate bias.
A constant battle for fairness.
It is. Privacy and security concerns are also huge. AI often needs access to large amounts of data, raising privacy issues. AI systems themselves can be targets for sophisticated cyber attacks.
Data breaches involving AI systems. Scary.
Robust security measures and strict privacy protocols are essential. There are also concerns about AI enabling excessive workplace monitoring. Then there are the implementation costs and complexity.
We touched on this. It can be expensive.
Deploying and maintaining sophisticated AI systems can be extensive and complex, requiring specialized expertise, which can be a barrier, especially for smaller organizations. There's the issue of the lack of human touch and judgment.
AI doesn't have empathy.
Exactly. AI lacks empathy, common sense reasoning, and ethical understanding in the human sense. Over-reliance on AI, especially in customer service or caregiving roles, can dehumanize experiences. Human judgment remains critical. And finally, dependency and resilience.
Relying too much on it.
Becoming excessively dependent on AI creates vulnerabilities. What happens if the system fails, or the vendor changes terms, or it's compromised? Organizations need to balance automation with maintaining core human capabilities and ensure they have backup plans. Build resilience.
So it's really about balancing the incredible potential of AI with a realistic understanding of its limitations and the need to proactively manage the associated risks, job changes, skills, accuracy, bias, privacy, cost, lack of human touch, dependency. That's a lot to juggle.
It is. The key is to approach AI integration strategically, ethically, and with a human-centric focus. Maximize how it augments human capabilities and drives positive outcomes while carefully considering and mitigating the potential downsides. It's not magic. It's a powerful tool that needs careful handling.
Looking ahead now, crystal ball time. What does the future hold for AI in the workplace, and how will prompt engineering continue to evolve alongside it? What trends should we really be paying attention to as we move towards, say, 2025 and beyond?
The field is moving incredibly fast, but some key trends are emerging for both AI capabilities and how we interact with them via prompts.
Okay, let's start with prompt engineering itself. How is that going to change?
We can expect prompt engineering to become even more sophisticated, but also potentially more automated. We'll likely see more automation and optimization tools like the APE concept we discussed, AI helping us write better prompts, maybe even dynamically adjusting prompts based on context.
AI writing prompts for AI.
Okay. Multimodal prompting will become standard. Interacting with AI using a mix of text, images, audio, maybe even video, and getting outputs that combine these formats seamlessly.
Talking to AI with more than just text.
Exactly. AI will get better at adaptive and context-aware prompting, understanding the history of a conversation, user preferences, the broader context, and adapting its responses and even its implicit prompts accordingly. Continuous learning within an interaction.
More natural, ongoing conversations.
We'll also see more personalization and domain specificity. Prompts automatically tailored to individual user styles or needs, and highly optimized prompt libraries for specific industries like healthcare or finance.
Prompts getting smarter and more tailored.
Ethical prompting will become a bigger focus, developing techniques specifically designed to promote fairness, reduce bias, enhance transparency, and ensure responsible AI behavior through the prompts themselves.
Building ethics into the prompts. Interesting.
We might see enhanced user interfaces and no-code platforms that make sophisticated prompting accessible without needing to know complex syntax. Maybe even some standardization of prompt structures.
Making it easier for everyone.
And as LLMs get better at handling larger amounts of information, we'll see the rise of mega prompts and leveraging long context, using much longer, more detailed prompts that provide extensive background and instructions, taking advantage of larger context windows.
So prompt engineering is becoming more automated, multimodal, adaptive, personalized, ethical, maybe easier to use, and able to handle more complexity. Busy times ahead. What about the broader AI capabilities impacting work?
The big one everyone's talking about is the rise of AI agents.
Agents, you mean more autonomous AI?
Yes, autonomous systems that can perceive their environment, reason, plan, use tools, like we discussed with RT, learn from experience, and take actions to achieve goals with much less direct human instruction.
So they could automate whole workflows.
That's the potential. Automating complex, multi-step tasks currently done by humans. Our role might shift more towards defining high-level goals, setting constraints, overseeing, and managing teams of these AI agents.
Managing AI agents, that's a new job title.
Could be. We'll also likely see increased adoption of small language models, SLMs.
Smaller models. I thought bigger was better.
Not always. These are more specialized models trained for specific tasks or domains. They can offer comparable performance to giant models for certain applications, but require significantly fewer resources, are easier to customize and run locally.
So maybe a shift towards using a mix of specialized models.
Potentially, yes. Combining several SLMs might be more efficient and effective than relying on one massive general-purpose model for everything. We'll see deepening human-AI collaboration.
Beyond just question and answer.
Yeah. AI acting more like a genuine partner in problem-solving, scientific discovery, strategic decision-making, creative endeavors. Humans and AI working together, leveraging each other's strengths. Humans remain key differentiators with critical thinking, ethics, real-world understanding.
AI as a colleague, almost.
In a sense. This naturally leads to evolving skill requirements.
Yeah.
Some talk about a new skills triad. AI proficiency, using the tools, virtual intelligence, collaborating effectively in digital environments, and maybe even carbon intelligence, understanding the environmental impact of AI. Continuous learning becomes absolutely paramount.
Adapt or be left behind, basic.
Pretty much. Our very definitions of productivity and success metrics might need to be redefined. The focus could shift from sheer speed or volume of output to the quality of insights generated, the level of innovation achieved, the strategic impact made.
Measuring value differently.
And underpinning all this, a renewed emphasis on data quality. With techniques like RAG and the need to fine-tune SLMs, having high-quality, clean, well-governed data becomes even more critical than it already is. Garbage in, garbage out, amplified.
So a future with more autonomous AI agents, specialized models, true human-AI partnership, new skill demands, different success metrics, and an even greater need for good data. What are some specific predictions maybe for the next year or two, 2025 onwards?
Okay, based on current trends, continued talent demand, high demand and likely salary growth for prompt engineers, AI developers, data scientists, AI ethicists, people who can manage AI systems. Salaries are already impressive in some cases.
Good field to be in.
Mainstreaming of no-code AI. We'll see a majority of new AI applications, especially within businesses, being developed on no-code or low-code platforms, further democratizing AI creation.
More people building AI apps.
An ongoing job market transformation. AI will continue to reshape roles across industries. New positions will emerge, others will decline or fundamentally change. Workforce adaptation and lifelong learning remain absolutely key themes.
Constant change.
Seamless integration. AI will become increasingly embedded and almost invisible within standard software tools, word processors, spreadsheets, project management apps, CRM systems, less standalone AI tools, more AI features everywhere.
Just part of the furniture.
And definitely an intensified focus on governance and security. As AI becomes more powerful and pervasive, expect more regulatory scrutiny globally and an increased need for organizations to implement robust governance frameworks, ethical guidelines, and security measures.
Regulation and responsibility catching up.
Hopefully. The future workplace is clearly becoming increasingly AI-mediated. Navigating it successfully will require new skills, adaptive organizational cultures, and a strong commitment to responsible innovation.
It sounds like the workplace of the future is rapidly becoming an AI-mediated environment. And yeah, being prepared to adapt and learn continuously will be essential for everyone, not just the techies.
Absolutely. It's a shift impacting knowledge work across the board, developing these new skills, fostering that culture of adaptability, and embracing responsible innovation. Those are the keys to navigating this evolving landscape successfully.
So, to kind of bring it all together then, in this deep dive, we've really explored the crucial role of prompt engineering in unlocking the power of AI, especially in the
Okay.
workplace.
It's the interface.
We've looked at a whole range of techniques, from simple zero shot to more complex things like RAG and tree of thoughts, and those universal best practices: clarity, context,
It's
structure.
fundamentals.
We've touched on the diverse ecosystem of AI tools out there now, beyond just the big chatbots for all sorts of tasks.
In many specialized tools now.
And we dove into the essential considerations for actually integrating AI thoughtfully and strategically into our work: the planning, the data, the security, managing the human element, and the critical ethical dimension.
Can't forget the ethics and responsibility.
We've also touched on the exciting possibilities, the productivity boosts, the creativity, but also the potential challenges: job shifts, bias, reliability, that lie ahead as AI continues its rapid evolution.
That balanced perspective is crucial.
That's right. Mastering the art and science of prompt engineering and strategically adopting the right AI tools. It seems like these are no longer just nice to haves or advantages. They're increasingly becoming essential skills for enhancing productivity and really navigating the future of work.
I completely agree. It's becoming foundational knowledge work literacy for the near future.
So for you, the listener, as you're reflecting on all this information, maybe something to mull over, what specific tasks in your current workflow could be immediately enhanced, even just a little bit, by experimenting with some of the basic prompt engineering techniques we discussed today?
Yeah, just pick one thing and try it out.
And looking a bit further ahead, as we think about that future with more autonomous AI agents, what implications might that have for your own role, your responsibilities, maybe even your career path in the coming years?
Big questions to ponder.
Definitely. It's a fascinating, incredibly fast-moving field. We encourage you to keep exploring, keep learning, and maybe even share your own insights or questions with us or your colleagues. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.